been a busy summer. I don't know where the time is going. We've been working with a lot of athletes that are getting really jammed with their arms on the throwing of the bat head and the hands into the ball. So the strongest muscles we can use in our body are the hips, and the hips rotation throwing. It's a throwing motion, a wind, they throw open, a tight rotation of the hips, driving the core of the upper body open as well. A torque between the front shoulder and the rear hip helps get that tight throwing motion of the hips throwing. And when we throw the hands at the bat head. If we can create a good rotation, and we can follow that rotation by driving the hands to the inside of the ball, not straight ahead at it, but driving it to the inside, we'll follow that rotation great. And look how the bat head wants to come around on its own. Centrifugal force is going to make that bat head whip if we're fast enough, and that stabbing and throwing motion, X style, palm down and palm up of both hands, is going to make that bat head whip. But that lead arm is so important because it guides and transfers that power. It has to follow that rotation. It has to extend out a little bit within the rotation, so we're not here. We're following the rotation. It has to stay palm down so we don't get into a rollover, which is going to change our bat angle and let us be jammed. We've got to rotate, drive and extend or stab, and then let the bat rotation, let the body's rotation, let the centrifugal force that bat head whip through. We'll feel the snap more so than force it. If we throw explosively with the lead arm to guide and the top hand just to follow and throw on its own, top hand's like skimming a stone across the water. That lead hand though, it's really got to rotate, follow the rotation and create extension. So there's 6 drills that we have today that help you start to do that. The throwing motion of the hips and then the throwing motions of that X step within the rotation is the most powerful motion the body can generate. But rather than hold the frisbee like this where I have a tendency to roll over, I'm going to hold it like this so that I can keep in this palm down position like Jeremy Yates, a little bit longer so I don't roll over early before the swing. So real nice and easy into a net here. Boom! Nice angle up. Again, hold this here. Boom! For myself and most of the athletes we have, this feels like a really natural drill. Just a little bit of a wind, reach the brace foot ahead, and torque the hips open, torque the shoulders open, especially in the second half of the swing. And that shoulder open is going to pull the lead arm in an arc, palm down. You'll release it right there at the point of impact, and you get a tremendous amount of torque. Lets you work on launch angle, the angle you want to throw it. Watch how that lead arm on an actual swing looks very similar to it. Again, there's a rotation, extension, and the torque of the shoulders and the hips together to really launch, throw that off with centrifugal force. Tremendous way to get a lot of torque and a lot of speed on that, which leads us to the bat throw drill. I don't want to extend out like this. I want to follow the rotation with that throw. Boom, right there. And I can also put a T here so I have a little bit of a visualization. That's about the angle I want it right here. I love this drill because you see the progression from the frisbee throw, exactly the same motion. We get a ton of torque. It's really important to keep that left wrist palm down so we don't roll over. We get a snap. We stay connected to that really strong shoulder torque, which is powered off the hips, as you see down here. But the shoulder torque, about halfway through the shoulder torque, really takes over when the hips are open all the way. And we can really work on a good point of contact right there. You can see when we look at Frank Henry's swing, look at the left hand there. Same thing. No rollover. Keeps you on the same path. And then we go right into the swing simulator throw. The great thing about the swing simulator throw is look at the way we brace against the front foot, drive our hip backwards, and torque the shoulders. Look at that. It eliminates the lean forward and the lunging. We keep the left wrist palm down. Notice that left wrist. That's what's going to release it. It's going to keep us from rolling over. Look at Greg Cannell, same angle, you can see how similar that is. Look at the shoulder torque and the body torque, bringing that around. He's bringing it around and the arc is flying off with centrifugal force. He's getting an X snap. It's a very tight snap and you keep on the same plane. Now when we use the guide rope bat throw, it's one step further. Again, one more progression. And what you really want to try to do on this is stay on top of the rope. Now, my knob comes up a little bit, the bat drops underneath, and the next drill, you want to go underneath it because you want to cut the ball in the bat throw. But again, there's a wind, get the bracing out, convert the linear to torque. Look at how that shoulder torque works, just like a Cannell here. You can see how that drill mirrors what he's doing. Go really fast with the run on the top of the rope, guides you on the right angle. All that shoulder torque keeps you working in an arc. For demonstration purposes here, I swung over the top of the guide rope before, but I actually want to cut the bottom half of the ball, so I'm going to swing underneath it here. Turn my hips, set myself open, allow for my stride. I'm just going to go ahead and throw. Follow the path of the rope. Good. I didn't do it myself. Come up on the rear toe so my hips didn't throw quite as strong as they could. Again, you get rep after rep after rep, working on the winding, throwing, unwind to the body, throw in motion. You can work on that rotation of the shoulders, bringing that bat head and hand around without rolling over, and finally getting that extension within the rotation. Again, not out here, but follow the rotation here. Extension and throw. Good. That's great. All those drills I did before do a good job of leading us up to that point where the rotation and the hips and shoulders will throw, extend within the arc, and it just feels smooth and nice. You hit the ball good. When you start to swing live now, your main focus is going to be just what you did here, the lead arm. Top arm is going to work with you. It's also going to throw like skipping a stone, but when you start to work off the tee and start to work off with the top arm, you'll get a great swing. Look here, now the knob comes up a little bit. I ride over the top a little bit. Watch on Canal here. Knob comes up, bat head drops a little bit, he rides over the top. Now here's a better swing coming up here where I make sure that I throw faster, harder, quicker off that rotation and keep the knob aiming at the ball. I get more extension, a little bit more throw at the end. Look at the knob doesn't come up, watch. I continue to extend faster, farther within the rotation, and watch the same thing with Canal here. Look at centrifugal force, gonna make that bat head whip around. I find that I'm jammed when I go bat off the tee. It's because I'm jammed a little bit, just not exploding that arm in the arc, yet exploding outside the arc enough to get the extension that we need. And keeping that lead wrist palm down so I X-snap and pull it around. As soon as you roll your lead wrist over, you're gonna disconnect from your hips and the bat head's gonna end up with a funny plane. You wanna swing around like you got a hula hoop around you, and you'll continue all the way around that same path. If you roll over, your bat head's gonna rise up. So continue to work off the tee, and then you can go live. I do some lead arm swings off a live pitching, and then when you get down to your focus, that's going to be your main focus. Your lead arm is a guide that transfers the power, and your top arm is just going to hammer right along with it. So it's a great way to work on a series of drills. You can put it together so you can work it in about 10 minutes and then get on to your live hitting.